Hello everyone, welcome to our 12 weeks of Christmas countdown. I'm Ruth with Ruth's Stamping Corner, and I'm so glad you guys are joining me today. We're just going to jump right into the project today because there are a lot of little parts and pieces to it, and I don't want to rush through it. I want to make sure that we have time for all the little pieces, and I want to make sure that I can explain it all clearly. This project though is one that you definitely don't have to follow my guidance for. You could really just make this your own. This is just how I've done it. You could definitely make it your own. All right, before we jump in and get started though, if you are new, this is my monthly host code. This is October's host code. For all online orders that use this host code, I will send a PDF with 3 exclusive projects. Those projects are not shared on my blog. They are only shared with people who place orders. If your order is over $50, you will get the coordinating make and take kit for it. I'll mail that to you for free. All right, just a few other things. Paper Pumpkin subscriptions are open. The link is in the video description. I did look it up, and I think it is 9 boxes. I posted in my group yesterday what Paper Pumpkin is, and it's going to be so cute this month, or it'll be for November. October's kit is on its way, and as soon as it comes, I'll go live in this group to share it with you guys. All right, guys. So this is what we're making, this little box, but it's what's inside the box that really makes a difference. So this little box, and then inside the box is this, let's see if I can get it out, this sweet little ornament. This is perfect for hanging on your tree, or gifting to a neighbor or a coworker or a friend, or maybe have like an office tree or a classroom tree. This would be so beautiful hanging on it. So this is really what we're making today, but after I made this, I said, you know what, if you're going to give this away, you really need a cute box to put it in. So we're making a really simple box to put this in. And we're actually going to start with the box, but this is really the star of our show, this beautiful ornament. You can see there's so many textures on here, and we'll get to this in a minute, but let's start with the box really quick. The box is super simple, and it's really just the carrier for the main star of the show, but I did want to share how to make this as well. So really we're making 2 projects today. All right, so for the box, we are just using the 3x3 acetate boxes, and these are fabulous. They come in a package like this. You get, how many do you get? You get 10 per package, so you can make a bunch of these. And I shared a project a couple weeks ago using these boxes too. So these are fantastic little gift boxes, and all you have to do, there's no adhesive required or anything. You just kind of open them up and fold them into place, and they should, man, it's like these things know when the camera is running. So you just kind of fold it in place. All right, now for my box, I do have a piece of white cardstock in here. This is just a plain piece of 3x3 white cardstock. Now, if you wanted to give this away, and you could write a note on the back of this, this could be, but this is really just in there just to keep the little ornament hidden and just to add some design. So I'm just going to stick that in there, just a piece of white cardstock that's 3x3. You could stick a little 3x3 card in there too. You could even decorate that and stick it in there, but that is pretty much our box. So let's just decorate it up a little bit. I have, I'm using Stampin' Seal Plus for this because it's a 3D project. I have a strip of Just Jade cardstock. This is 1 by about 8.5. It's just some scraps I have, so whatever little 1-inch scrap you have. So I'm just going to wrap it around, kind of pinch it in place. And then I'm going to take my bone folder, and on those areas that I've pinched it, let me grab my bone folder, I'm just going to make sure that it's all lined up nice and straight, and I'm just going to go through and just kind of burnish those lines. That'll make sure that it's nice and straight, but it'll also make sure that the corners are nice and straight and tight as well. So it'll wrap nicely and snugly around your box. Okay, last one. And then to adhere it, we're just going to put a little bit of adhesive on one side, and I'm going to wrap it around. And this is actually going in the front because we're going to cover this up, so I'm not worried about that seam showing. We're going to cover that up. So that's in the front. So let's talk about the rest of our products in the front of our box here. So I've already stamped and die cut 2 of these little pine sprigs. And actually, my kids are using the computer, so I hope that they're not taking up too much of the Wi-Fi. I'm having a hard time seeing comments in my group, so I hope you guys are, I hope it's all good. These are actually the 2 stamp sets that we're using. We're using Tidings and Trimmings. This one is in the annual catalog, and we're using Christmas season. This is in the holiday catalog. And we're using the coordinating dies for both of them. They each come in a bundle that you can get with the dies. So they are both fantastic bundles. And so the little pine sprigs were cut with that Christmas season bundle, stamped and die cut. And then I also have a little sprig of little berries here, also with that Christmas season bundle. Now with the Tidings and Trimmings dies here, so I've die cut this star. This is out of our Ombre specialty paper. It is beautiful, beautiful like glimmer paper. Let me see if I can grab it. I have multiple classes in the works here, and so there's stuff everywhere. So this is the Ombre specialty paper. Let me see if I can grab a piece of, this is the red pattern. So you can see it goes from light to dark, and it is like glittery and gorgeous, and so you get red, purple, blue, and yellow in that specialty pack. So it's a gorgeous paper, and we're actually going to use it a couple times. This is the yellow one, and we're actually going to use the red one as well. So let's do our stamping real quick for the front. So I'm going to use Crumb Cake, and the greeting is from that Tidings and Christmas. And I'm just going to stamp this near the bottom. This is just a scrap piece of white. We're going to cut everything out. So I'm not going to worry too much about the size of anything. And let me trim this out. So I'm just going to use my little mini trimmer. I'm getting as close to the words as I can. Let me go a little bit further. I think that's good. And so just throw that little piece away. Now on this end, I'm going to flag it just with my paper snips. You can use the Taylor Tag Punch or the Banners Pick a Punch. I didn't grab either of those, so we're just going to use my scissors. All right, now I do have the little detail piece of the star right here, and where I'm actually going to die cut that. Where's my die? Here it is. But before I die cut that, I want to put some adhesive on the back of my paper. Now this is the snowy white velvet paper, so I know that it's going to be a little hard to tell in the video, but it is soft and velvety and just phenomenal. So I'm actually going to use the adhesive sheets. So let me see which side peels off. Okay, so I'm going to peel off a little bit of the adhesive sheet, and I'm going to put my my velvet sheet on there. The velvet side is pointing up. Don't put the glue on the velvet side. I'm going to rub that down, and then I'm just going to cut this out, just out of the adhesive sheet. Now, on the back of this now will be, it'll be a sticker. So we're going to die cut this, and then it'll be a sticker, and it'll be easy to adhere. So we're going to die cut that detail piece. So let me grab my mini cut and emboss machine. We're going to pull that in today. And let me pull this in, my plates in. So I have my velvet sheet, my star piece, put it over that adhesive. I'm going to run this through. I should have told my kids to get off their computers, so I hope they're not stealing all the Wi-Fi. Normally I'm good about remembering to do that, but you know, it's been a crazy day. All right, so let me grab my Take Your Pick tool. I have the brush attachment on the Take Your Pick tool. Just kind of run that through, and all those little pieces will pop right out. All right, so let's pop all those out. All right, now let's adhere this to our star. Now the hardest part is just to get the adhesive off. Once you get that adhesive piece off, that little piece out of there, then you can stick this onto your star piece, and it is velvety and soft and gorgeous. So that is that piece. Let's move this trash out of the way. All right, so let's bring our box back in. We're going to layer everything up. We're going to do that with some dimensionals. So let me stick a dimensional in the center here. We're going to stick our star on. If I can get the backing off, there we go. Our star is going to go right in the center there. I'm going to stick my two little leaves on here, my pine branches. I'm going to stick one up there, and I'm going to stick one in the back, or right in front of that one, just right over it. About right there. Perfect. And I'm going to adhere my little holly branches right onto our greeting piece. Now I'm going to trim off all this extra white on here, so I'm just going to grab the scissors and just kind of follow that line there and just trim that off, and then you have a nice beautiful clean piece there. And we're going to adhere this on. I am going to put a dimensional, let me see, grab a dimensional. I'm going to put a dimensional right here just to kind of hold that second part of it, that second half of it. A little bit of glue on the back here. This will go right on just like that. And we're going to finish this off with a bow. I've already tied a linen thread bow. So let me grab some glue dots. I'm going to stick a glue dot on here. And this is going to go right here, just like that. Now to finish off our box, let me get my other take your pick tool. We're going to use some of these gilded gems. These are in the annual catalog, and I love these for 3D projects. I love these gilded gems. They're a little bit bulky for mailing, I think, but for 3D projects, I love them. I think they're fantastic. Okay, so that is our little box. Isn't that cute? So it's pretty simple. Now, depending on how you decorate your ornament, you might want to decorate your box differently, but this is going to coordinate really well with our ornament. So let's jump into our ornament. So this is what we're going to make now. Now, the actual base of the ornament is this. I found these at my local craft store. These are just, they're calling them wood bark ornaments. If you have, you know, a tree in your backyard or something, you can always slice it down, just add some string to it, and you have an ornament. These are really inexpensive, really cheap and easy, and I love these for Christmas projects. So I always try to stock up on them when they're on sale. All right, so let's talk about our ornament. Now, I've already done a lot of the pre-die cutting. So I have a star here. This is out of that same velvet paper. So this is going to give us a lot of fun different textures. We have like the rustic natural with the wood slice. We have the velvet with the star. I have done a little bit of stamping in advance. So I started with some gold foil, and then I stamped from that Christmas season stamp set. Let me pull that out again. I stamped this little branch in Versamark, and I heat embossed it in gold. So that's going to give us a whole new texture on there. I've also die cut some of the berries from those same Christmas season's dies. This is out of that Ombre specialty paper. I've heat embossed our greeting and fussy cut it, so you guys didn't have to watch me do that. This is heat embossed in white on Just Jade cardstock and then fussy cut. Now the greeting is optional, and I kind of went back and forth for a while on it, so we might make one without the greeting and one with the greeting. We're going to finish up our stamping. I have a scrap piece of crumb cake and a scrap piece of Just Jade, and so we're going to finish out our stamping. And then finally I have a gold shimmer ribbon bow that has been pre-tied. So let's get to our stamping. So in Just Jade, we're going to stamp these little holly leaves. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp those. We're going to be die cutting them. So Just Jade on Just Jade cardstock, because we're going to be die cutting them and there's a little border around, the Just Jade is going to, the cardstock's going to help fill in all of that color. We have crumb cake and soft suede for our pine cone. I'm going to start with the more solid of the images for the pine cone, and I'm going to stamp that in crumb cake, just right onto our crumb cake cardstock. You can see our beautiful pine cone there. And then in soft suede ink, I am going to stamp that detail pine cone. Now, the best way that I found to line up the pine cone is to line up the bottom. There's like a little groove on the bottom that will line up almost exactly, and so that's really how I've been lining up the pine cone. Now, this stamp set is so forgiving though, and it's made to be more of a watercolor look, so if you get your images slightly off, it's okay. They're going to still look fantastic. All right, so we have our images here. We are going to die cut these three. So I have my pine cone, my little branch, and then my leaves. So let me grab some Post-it tape to hold these down, and then we're going to die cut them. And I think I'm just going to pull in my big cut and emboss machine for this because we have so many to die cut. So just line this up. Post-it tape. I love Post-it tape. It's one of my favorite tools. I keep lots of rolls of it in my craft room because I go through it quite often. All right, let's move this stuff out of the way. Move this stuff out of the way. We're going to pull in our big cut and emboss machine. I'm gonna move my ink pads. Hang on. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to hit the camera. Okay, let's pull in our plates. We're gonna do all of these all at once. We have our little pine branch. Oops, my pine cone fell off. So let's get that back on there. These little ornaments would make great like neighbor gifts. I was thinking you could make a bunch of them and then just walk around the neighborhood, leave them on the porch for your neighbors to find. They would be beautiful Christmas gifts. So you can even like hang them on their tree in their front yard maybe. I think it was so fun. Just to surprise people with some kindness. All right, let's get all of our pieces off. Let me get our plates out of the way. All right, move our dies. So we have our little holly leaves here. We have our gold leaf here. This is gold heat embossed and die cut on gold paper. So lots of shimmer and sparkle here. And then we have our beautiful pine cone. So let's start layering this up now. I'm going to layer this all up with, you guessed it, dimensionals. Because what else are we going to use? This is a beautiful 3D project. You just want to make sure that you make it as 3-dimensional as possible. So on the back of my star, I'm putting 3, what are those, dimensionals? And we're going to put our star right onto our little wood ornament there. We're going to go with our pine cone next. So grab a dimensional, maybe 2 dimensionals. Let's see, stick him down. Dimensional backings all over my desk. That's okay. All right, so our pine cone's going to kind of go off to the left a little bit. I'm going to just bring my my liquid glue in here. Just a little bit of liquid glue on the back of our gold foil piece. That's just going to tuck right down behind the pine cone. A little bit like that. Don't want it sticking up too far. Just a little bit like that. Now for our little holly leaves, I'm going to stick these on, a little bit of glue on them. And I'm just gluing them directly to the pine cone. You can also add a dimensional to the back of them to just help secure them a little bit more. So I'm going to stick that down. And then we're going to stick on our berries. Now I only wanted 3 berries, so I'm just going to take my scissors and cut off that last berry. We don't need that one. And then we'll just stick this on. You can use glue dots too if you don't want to use the liquid glue. Now I wanted a little bit more texture on my berries, so I am actually going to take our shimmery crystal effects and I'm just going to squeeze that onto my berries. I should wait for this to completely dry, but it's the video, so. But this is just going to add some extra like shine. It's going to add some glossy accents to this. It's going to be beautiful. So you will have to let this crystal effects dry for a good, at least an hour. I usually, when I do crystal effects, I let it dry for a couple hours. And then if you wanted to add your heat embossed greeting, you could add that, and you can add that wherever. I'm going to actually leave it off on this one. I want to do one with and one without, and I'll see which one you guys like better. All right, now of course to finish this one off, we are going to bring in those gilded gems again because they are gorgeous. So I'm going to take a big one, maybe. That one goes down here. A medium-sized one we'll put over here, and then a little one just on top of the pine cone, just like that. All right, now one more thing we need to add is our bow. So let me find my glue dots. I'm gonna add my bow, put a glue dot on the back of that. And then I'm just gonna carefully kind of lift the edge of my star, and I just want this right on the back of my wood chip there, my wood slice there. And we'll fix our little bow. And that goes back there. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't it so fun? Wouldn't this be so beautiful hanging on the tree? And with all of those different textures, with the velvet and all the different sparkle and shines, there's so much going on here. Now, don't put this in your box until that crystal effects is completely dry, but we'll go ahead and stick this one in our finished box. It'll fit perfectly in there. Have to finagle it just a little bit, but the ornament will fit in there. And you have a perfect little gift, either for yourself or for coworkers or neighbors or teachers. This would be so much fun. You can even make these with kids. You can just maybe pre-stamp die cut a bunch of things. Just let them assemble them however they want. I think that'd be a really fun little activity for kids as well. All right, guys, that is it for week 3 of the 12 weeks of Christmas. I hope you had a fantastic time. Let me know which you like better, if you like the one without the greeting or with the greeting. I think either way they're gorgeous. I think it really just depends on your preference. I like them both. And then, of course, the little gift box that goes with them. All right, guys, if you guys need to order any supplies, please head to my online store. Use this host code. If you're watching this on Facebook, I'd love it if you shared it with your friends. If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel. That really helps me out. And I will see you guys next week for week 4 of our 12 weeks of Christmas countdown. And I will be live on Wednesday in my business page. And we're going to make this. That's it. That's all you get. It's so cute, though. And it's a super sweet treat inside, so it's going to be so much fun. So join me Wednesday, 10 a.m. in my business page, and then I'll be back here next Sunday for week 4. All right, guys, have a great week. Bye.